It is 2/27 of 2015. We're going to continue our look at Jenson and his systematic theology. We're going to take a look at his doctrine of resurrection. And he breaks that down into 3 moments of the ideal, and then 2 availability, and 3 bodily actuality. Short chapter, only 13 pages, but Jenson packs in a lot of logic and content within just a few pages. So we'll take a look at it. We just finished up the crucifixion. Now we're going to look at the event that qualifies the crucifixion and makes it a saving event. First moment is going to be the ideal, the tri-mutual ideal of promise. Resurrected life equals ideal immortal life. For Jenson, it could not be directly seen by human finite sense. The resurrection could not be narratively expanded either. Jenson says that the resurrection experiences, the ideal is equated with apocalypsis, or apocalyptic, or the unveiling of apocalyptic truth, an unveiling of the future of creation as an incommensurable image of the future and its agents. And in this case, it'll be the agency of the word event of the crucifixion. Now, there is a Christological qualification to apocalyptic in this case. The promised future and actuality are enjoined together in a very unique way in this case. The unveiling availability of truth was mediated through a practice of appearing and withdrawal. And these were appearings characterized by transcendence, which usurped the laws of actuality. Christ and the ideal resided in the tri-mutual ousia space that internally created ousia space of relation within the Father. Christ and the ideal resided in this tri-mutual ousia space of, in this case, apocalyptic future converse. It's the ousia of apocalyptic future converse. Now, the qualifying difference was visualized in the fact that we also had the experience of the ascension into heaven. This heaven is defined as seeing Jesus as the inhabitant of the age to come. All of these visions were objective vision experiences. They weren't just merely subjective. And the Christological qualification penetrates the mutual fellowship of tri-mutual divinity in that ousia space within that unity of God, that triune unity. The conclusion, therefore, for the ideal is that the resurrection equals an already accomplished future within our contingent historical reality. Accomplished future within historical reality. Now, that's the ideal, but that ideal has to become available to creation. That's the second moment, availability, the word event of incarnate availability. First of all, after the trial and the execution, most of the followers of Christ scattered. Some did, minority, but a few did continue to believe that Jesus was Messiah and Lordship. Messiah and Lord, Christos and Kyrios. Now, the finding of the empty tomb parallels the Jewish temple being empty at the time also. Remember, Herod's temple, the Holy of Holies, was empty. You know, after the Nebuchadnezzar invasion, they pillaged the temple and stole everything in it. And after that siege or attack, there's no longer an Ark of the Covenant in the Holy of Holies. So Herod's temple is empty and defiled because of its association with the Roman government. But the empty tomb parallels this idea of the Jewish temple being empty and that the Shekinah glory cannot be contained, but is universally available to all nations and all peoples. The Shekinah glory, or in Greek, the doxa glory, cannot be contained in any mortar and rock building. That glory is available universally to the far ends of the earth. Jesus shares God's ousia space of relatedness, we've talked about that, to creation. So body actually equals a person as available for Jenson. Body equals a person as available. The church ontologically identifies the body of Christ. This is where we are solicited by the availability of Christ's promise as word event. So church recital, remember in Christology we talked about church rehearsal and recital. Church recital equals bodily appearing as logos. That's the key aspect of availability. The church recital equals the bodily appearing of the logos as word event. Third moment of bodily actuality is the ecclesial-liturgical actuality. The church exists as a heavenly created future presence where the triune God resides. Here God is present to his creatures, and where his creatures can be present to God. This defines the place of body. The church message, rehearsal, recital, and liturgy, a liturgy in word and sacrament that co-creates an ongoing presentation of word event. And that word event becomes the availability to all creatures and all creation. But it all begins in that the initial trimutual ousia space. And we've already discussed the ousia space as a word. The first was ousia word, then it was ousia energy with the spirit. And now we've got ousia apocalyptic. Word, energy, and apocalyptic. Now we have a triune division. The short chapter ran from 194 to 207, and it basically is Jenson's view of how the crucifixion can become a saving event. We already discussed how it becomes a sacrifice and how it's transcended in meaning beyond the Jewish Ebionite Christianity and the Hellenist Greek Christianity. And now we are introduced to a qualification of apocalyptic, where the actual future is perceived as already accomplished. It's perceived as eschatologically already accomplished within the historical reality. So in other words, there's a recognition by believers that the sovereignty of this future has all sovereign dunamis power and dunamis energia. Therefore, it is an accomplished future when viewed eschatologically within our current historical reality. And so, very, very short. We wrapped it up very short, only like 9 minutes. That's good. But it gives you a very brief look, but it is consistent with what Jenson has been doing. We have a very concise look at the resurrection as ideal, availability, and bodily actuality in the liturgy of the church.